Well, good day everybody, and welcome to a 2024 Mazda 3 Turbo Hatchback Premium Plus. We're out here today doing our typical long commute or long highway drive to measure gas mileage, to give you some sense of how this performs out on the highway. We do have a full review of this 2024 Mazda. I'll put the link up there. That covers everything, but today we're just focused on highway comfort. How does it do out on a trip, and more importantly, how does it do out on the highway? Now, this isn't our typical 111 mile trip. This has been about 130 miles today. We filled this up this morning gave the good stuff, and we have about maybe 20 more miles to go back to the gas station where we'll fill it up and we'll measure our fuel economy. Now, the trip computer is saying 28.2 right now. On the trip down there, it was right around 29. Unfortunately, we have not been able to average a speed of 70 miles per hour. It's a lot slower than that, but I'll get into all those statistics at the end. A lot of you are going to want to fast forward to that, but we're going to talk a little bit about how this performs out here on the highway if you want to hang with us. Again, this is the top trim. This is the top dog. New for 2024, Mazda got rid of some other trims. They just have the Turbo Carbon, and they have this Turbo Premium Plus. This one here is clocking in at around $38,000. So you would expect this to have some niceties, some goodies in it, along with its turbo power train. What the big thing for 2024 specifically, or only in the turbo models, you get this much bigger infotainment screen. If you're running Apple CarPlay, guess what I can do? I can touch it. However, it's still far away, so I don't know. I still got the scroll wheel down here. I think that's still the best way to get around in this because it's so far away. However, I would say that if you have a passenger with you on a road trip and you need them to do some navigation duties or some music duties or some other app duties, they can do that because it's natural to them. If I ask them to do the scroll wheel, well, that's going to be a problem. So anyway, that's a good feature. Again, only on the turbo. We also have a wireless charger that comes standard in this specific trim, and right now down there my phone has hooked up wirelessly to Apple CarPlay and Android, and it's worked pretty well this week, so been pretty happy with that. Seems to charge okay, seems to maintain a charge doing all of its crazy navigation duties. So the big thing out here on the highway is engine performance. One thing that you got about 250 horsepower on premium, which we do have here today. You have gobs of torque, and one nice thing about being on the highway is, well, let's do it. Whether it's getting up to speed on the highway, whether it's passing anybody on the highway, you will never think or be worried about it. You will just push the pedal down and this turbo just gets you going in a hurry. Immensely or highly irresponsible speeds are achievable in a hurry, so that is not a problem. One thing I am a little surprised with is that 6th gear along with final drive, around 70 miles per hour. This is still over 2,000 RPMs. I thought it would be a little lower, but the engine is so quiet at highway speeds that it doesn't make a big deal. As far as overall road noise with this turbo, you know, I am in the hatch. I don't know why, but I feel like it's a little bit more wind noise than our 2022 sedan, which is front wheel drive, naturally aspirated. Just feels a little bit noisier, even though it's not the engine. So I don't know if it's the hatch. It may be in my imagination. I did measure 70 decibels with this. I'm going to go ahead and put that up there, and then I'm also going to put up our sedan 2.5 under the same conditions, and that'll solve it. We'll see what we measure in that test. But overall, extremely comfortable. This has the top trim leather seats. I find them maybe a tad more comfortable than some of the other Mazda seats. It just feels like they're a little bit softer. So all day comfort. I got a nice padded wheel here. Visibility wise out the front is great. What I'm really surprised with in a good way is just how good my rear visibility is out the back window. The window's kind of narrow, but it's got a great visibility. You know, there's no blockages back there. I can look out the back window through this rear view really, really well. Now, obviously, I do have that big C-pillar back there with a blind spot over my shoulder, but you have an excellent large size mirrors on each side with blind spot monitoring, and you also have your heads-up display in this top trim, which will also pop up if anybody is in your blind spot. So that's pretty good. You do have radar adaptive cruise, which works pretty well for all. You know, Mazda systems work pretty decent, but this one specifically has, I'll go ahead and turn that on. I'll go ahead and set the speed, and I don't know if you can see the green up there, but it's showing up in green that my cruise control is set. And we'll just pop it down to 70 there, and it'll gradually slow down to 70. It won't put on the brakes or anything. Now, there is a button down here with a steering wheel. This will enable a lane centering feature. I am going to let it just kind of drive here around the corner. It does pretty good. It's not exactly keeping it over about 10 seconds. It asked me to grab the wheel. They call this traffic jam assist. It works out here on the highway. Again, about 10 seconds before it asked me to grab the wheel. I don't know, I've never been big fans of those systems. However, in traffic this morning, I found it to be pretty nice, especially the cruise control. It would come to a complete stop if the car stopped. If it wasn't stopped too long, it would proceed when the car in front of me went, or it went into hold mode and it just took a little tap on the gas pedal to get it moving again. So overall, I really enjoyed that in traffic this morning. And again, I can take my hands off the wheel as long as this camera can see the road. Now, we do have lane keep. If you drift out, you know, if this is turned off and I completely drift out, it'll try to push me back naturally. So overall, that button down there, I think this is on the turbos also. Again, Mazda hasn't really done these lane centering, but you're seeing it in like the CX-90, and now you're seeing it in this turbo trim. This specific turbo has the premium or the Bose sound system. Bose is sort of, seems like it's drifting away from most of the other trims. You can really only get it on top trims. It's not available in the hatchback. I think maybe in the sedan, other than maybe in the Turbo Premium Plus, which is disappointing because in the Mazda 3 is where I think the Bose system sounds the best. I'll go ahead and play a little bit of that music here for you. All right, so between the music, how comfortable this is, the turbo engine, you can chew up some serious miles in this, which brings us to the main point of this video, and that's gas mileage. If you follow the turbo at all, you know that it's not a gas mileage champ, not a fuel economy champ, and we've experienced that this week. Just tooling around, driving this thing hard, yes, it'll consume some fuel. Now, the EPA rates this at 31 out on the highway. Again, that's on the low side compared to some of its rivals like the Volkswagen GTI, the Acura Integra. Again, but this is all-wheel drive. So you really want to kind of look at the Audi products. You kind of want to look at even the GolfR, which is a lot more money, but again, that type of horsepower, all-wheel drive, and mileage. So again, so far we're seeing 27.9 on the trip computer after 117 miles. Again, lots of little traffic in there, but overall, that's you know, I would expect better for this same trip I've done before in our 2.5 non-turbo, and I got almost 40 miles per gallon. So that should give you a little idea. The other Achilles heel here with this is the fact that 31 miles per gallon, you know, The gas tank is not that big on any Mazda 3. It's a little over 13, but then when you take in, you know, lower mileage, yeah, you know, range is not that great. So anyway, we got a little bit more to go. Let's get her back to the gas station. As always, be sure to subscribe if you like what you're hearing today. Check out all of our other stuff, specifically on Mazda's 3. We got a lot of other Mazda videos, and we'd love to have you along. But anyway, let's get back to the gas station and see how this comfortable, powerful cruiser actually did when we fill it up. Okay, we are back and parked. I didn't want to bore you with all those calculations. We did top off the tank, and here are the numbers. They are kind of surprising. We actually drove 120 miles. The trip computer said 120.1. Our GPS on the phone said 119.6. We actually filled up with about 3.944 gallons. So what that yields is about 30 mpgs. We got 30.3, 30.5, so between 30 and 31. Now what's surprising is it's very rare to have the actual pump calculation exceed what's on the trip computer. So we actually had a little bit, we had 28.5 on the trip computer. So I'm going to take the pump fill up and just say this hit the EPA numbers at an average speed of about 47 miles per hour. So there you go, guys. That's going to give you a range. This has a 12.7 gallon tank, so you can kind of see that gives you about a 360 mile total range. You take off about 30 for practicality. It's going to be about 330. Thanks for coming along on this mileage highway performance video today, and as always, have a great day, morning or evening, wherever you are.